What's going on, everyone? It was announced a couple hours ago now per Woj that Patrick Beverley will be heading to the Lakers. It could be announced as soon as today, I guess now. And they are trading Talen Horton-Tucker as well as Stanley Johnson to acquire Patrick Beverley. Beyond acquiring a guy like Patrick Beverley, who is a perfect complement to a player like LeBron, there are other benefits for the Lakers. One, they clear up a roster spot. Two, they clear about $12 million in cap space for next season. I did a whole video, whole breakdown, all the details and information. I'll link that video down in the description below. Reason I'm making this video is because we may have gotten a leak of what the Lakers' next move is. Now, I said in the previous video, which again is linked down in the description below, that this feels kind of like a move that is setting up another move. They clear out roster spot, things like that, and I mentioned the Pacers deal. Well, a Laker legend in Rick Fox had this to say. There was, how do the Lakers get another ring? Question mark. Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, and Patrick Beverley. Let's go championship Lakers. Now, that in and of itself is a little suspect. Okay, cool, interesting. But then he lists the one above it. I wanted to trim it down to the bottom part just so you could see it on screen. But it's a list of several players, including himself, and the amount of rings. Like it shows like Steph Curry, Rick Fox, and it has like the little title trophies that are lined up for each person. And then you see Buddy Hield, DeAndre Ayton, and then above Buddy Hield is Miles Turner. And then it says 242 to the Lakers world. That is if you like winning championships. So Rick Fox tweets that Buddy Hield, Miles Turner, and Patrick Beverley to the Lakers. Now, again, this could just be what Rick Fox wants. This could easily just be, hey, like I want to see Buddy Hield and Miles Turner heading to the Lakers, right? That's the deal that many of us believe is going to happen. That makes a ton of sense, and that would actually help upgrade. And not just that, you got a guy in Patrick Beverley without having to give up any draft picks, and you cleared that roster spot to acquire a Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. So it's perfect because the Lakers would be, at the threshold. They could have 14 players on the roster, which is usually what the Lakers like because they like, a spot for a buyout market, stuff like that. But Buddy Hield and Miles Turner to the Lakers is the move that I think is the most realistic, improves them the most, gives them the most versatility. I know a lot of people like the Utah deal. The problem with the Utah deal is you're talking age of all of those players. Also, what is their value beyond this season? Where Miles Turner is young enough to where if you have to, in say 2 years, LeBron leaves or something, and you need to trade these guys, Miles Turner and Buddy Hield will likely still have value. Not just that, Buddy Hield will be an expiring contract after this season, so maybe there's some value there if it doesn't really work out with him or doesn't move the needle enough. Maybe the Lakers can kind of use him to acquire another piece from a team that's trying to clear salary space. That's a real move, where most of the guys on Utah that they'd want to acquire are either long-term contracts that are like kind of iffy, or they're expiring contracts, which frees up cap space, but like what do you have that cap space freed up in Russell Westbrook? Maybe you get a shooter, stuff like that, but at the end it's like you're trading picks to acquire a rental essentially, or a guy that has no real value, 2 or 3 years from now. At least again, Miles Turner is 27 years old. In 5 years, he'd still only be 32, and if he's still at the level he's at, would have some value. So you could use him for a trade. Pretty much all the players on Utah, they're basically, they're role players that you're having for, a year, maybe two, and then that's it. You're cutting the ties with them. Where Miles Turner, he could be around for long. Even post LeBron, you could keep Miles Turner. Salary cap's supposed to go up in 2025. That could be huge. You'd have Buddy Hield's money falling off the books. Like the Lakers could end up having Miles Turner and Anthony Davis as like their core if they're both able to work it out and are really good. And then you could put, a player or two around those two and maybe really compete. Also, Miles Turner gives you that Anthony Davis insurance. The problem we had last year is when Anthony Davis got hurt, we had nobody to kind of, replace him or supplement him while he was out. And Miles Turner is a guy that could do that. Play the power forward, play the center, and you get that sort of mix and match. I think it's interesting. I just, again, don't want to put too much into the Rick Fox thing. I really don't. But it's kind of interesting. And it's something that I threw out there too. Patrick Beverley, it seems like that's the deal to go to be the first domino in order to go acquire Miles Turner and Buddy Hield. And then, Rick Fox ends up tweeting about that sort of thing. Could just be his opinion, as it was mine in the video. Again, I don't want to put too much weight into it. I don't want people thinking like, oh, that's it, this is confirmed, like this is... No, I just thought it was interesting, and I thought it was at least worth a conversation, at least worth a bit of a discussion, because, we got the word that Patrick Beverley is coming. I don't think the Lakers stop there, especially since they didn't have to give up any draft picks, nothing like that. I really feel like Patrick Beverley is the first of maybe even several moves. Now, depending on what you give up, Miles Turner, Buddy Hield, I think if you end up with these three on the screen with everyone you got, you're in a really good position. Like, seriously, you're in a really good position because you could start Patrick Beverley. LeBron's going to be your pseudo point guard, right, in this position. So then you could have Patrick Beverley, which is a perfect complement to LeBron James. If you want to start Buddy Hield for shooting, you can start Buddy Hield for shooting. My only concern is that you would have LeBron and Buddy Hield that aren't great defenders at this point. LeBron can be in spots, but you don't want him exerting himself on the defensive end for 82 straight games. So I kind of feel like certain matchups, yeah, you could start Buddy Hield, but I think he's kind of like I think he would be best served as like your 6th, 7th guy off the bench with Kendrick Nunn. Maybe you even start Kendrick Nunn, where you have Kendrick Nunn as that shooter, defender, kind of Kyrie light. I'm not saying he's anywhere near the level of Kyrie, but like a lot of the stuff the Lakers wanted Kyrie for, he kind of fits that mold. A guy that was like, a 38% three-point shooter the last season he played some solid defense, was a 20-point per game guy for a finals team as the starting guard. So like it's not out of the realm of possibility that he could give you that same production. You get a guy in Patrick Beverley who can be, your spot up shooter, play some solid defense. You got LeBron as your real point guard, Anthony Davis and Miles Turner down low, just, funneling to the bigs and allowing them to do that. Where if you start Buddy Hield and you start LeBron, you're putting a lot of pressure on your bigs. And Anthony Davis and Miles Turner are both incredible bigs, and they are both very solid. But, again, it's still a lot to ask for them to have to make up the slack for a Buddy Hield who at times doesn't even try to play defense. And then LeBron, do you really want him trying to exert himself on the defensive end? I don't think so. Patrick Beverley, he's a great, tenacious defender, kind of annoying and obnoxious, but he's undersized at 6'1". So, he's not guarding, big wings or big defensive guys. Like, it's just, I would rather see a defensive guy, like I said, either a Kendrick Nunn or, a Walker, something like that, where you got a big body. Walker has like a 6'10" wingspan. So he's got the size and the length, as well as he has had solid shooting years. Like, he's had a 38% and a 40% three-point percentage for 2 of the seasons he's been in the league, although it was a very small sample size. But I do think, you got LeBron James, you'd have Anthony Davis, you'd have Miles Turner. I would rather personally, and this is just me, I would rather have a guy on the court that shoots, instead of, Buddy Hield shooting 37% or whatever on 7 attempts, I would rather have a guy that shoots, 35% league average, but is going to stop the guy in front of him. Because that's the problem. Like, Buddy Hield, yeah, he might go get you 15 points, but if he's giving up 20, it's not really helpful. Where if you have Walker, if Walker's giving you, 10 to 15 points, but he's holding the other team to, 8 to 12 points, you're winning. So that's the kind of the difference for me. But anyway, again, as always, those are my thoughts and opinions. And so I pass the question on to you. Let me know yours down in the comment section below. What are your thoughts? Do you think that this is Rick Fox? Maybe he knows something. I mean, he is a Laker. He's got the ties, he's got the connections. I'm sure he's in the know when it comes to certain things. And so I wouldn't be surprised if he knows something that we don't. So maybe this is something that is in the works. This was just the first of, another deal with Patrick Beverley. Or do you think this is nothing. This is just Rick Fox, just like all of us wanting the trades to continue, the trades to keep coming. I just thought it was interesting. I'm not trying to put too much into it. I'm not saying it is one way or another. It was just something that I just was like, wow, that's pretty curious. That's something that I find very interesting, that he would post that after the Patrick Beverley trade. Like, he didn't say like, oh, great, we got Patrick Beverley, that's great, and then like go, oh, I would love to see Buddy Hield and Miles Turner. No, he saw that they got Patrick Beverley and posted about Patrick Beverley, Miles Turner, and Buddy Hield. Just a little odd. But anyway, again, however you feel about it, love to hear your thoughts and opinions down in the comment section below. That being said, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me know you enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button, follow by the bell notification, stay up to date with all things sports, join this wonderful community and all of our discussions. I'll see you all in the next one. Thank you.